Looking back, Cheech, why do you think that brand of comedy resonated with so many people at that particular time and still holds up?
Because they were doing everything that we were doing. We represented what was going on in the streets at that time. And nobody was addressing that audience who was
Well, that's
huge.
just it. Nobody was doing it.
Yeah, no one's. And I couldn't figure out why, because we went from an era where, like the movies, the industry was making like Hello Dolly, and the TV industry was kind of sort of not even getting, they wanted us to, but we never went on TV, we never did movies because that was kind of the straight medium. And we were doing just fine with records and concerts.
Yeah.
And so when we turned down TV shows, they couldn't believe it. Huh. They couldn't believe it. So we don't need you.
Yeah. Now, how did you go from you're doing stand-up acts, you guys are writing stuff together, to writing Up in Smoke?
Wow, we had been a stage act for at that time, right from the Shanghai Junk was the club we worked in Vancouver. And then we kept doing stage, and then when we started making records, we had to figure out, well, how do we transfer what we're doing on stage to records? And so we went in the studio and we invented this other form. And the thing that surprised me is that we were such a big hit without anybody seeing us, just on record.
Yeah.
Because we were a visual act.
Right,
And
right.
so okay, great. And so then when we at the height of our record success, we stopped and took off a year and wrote Up in Smoke. And then eventually.
Because a lot of the studios turned you down, right?
They all turned us down.
They all turned you down.
They didn't know what to make of these guys. They were like, what is it?
So how'd you finally get the funding?
Well, it was a negative pickup deal, in which we put up the money. And then the studio guaranteed that if we turned in an acceptable form at a certain length with a certain rating, that they would refund the money and then pay us some money. So that's what we did.
Do you remember what you made it for?
I think when we stopped shooting it was $700,000.
Wow.
And it's made over $100 million.
It's made over $100 million. That is awesome, man.
Not that we saw all that.
Right. But oh my God, that is. Now, how did your dad, and your family, given their career in law enforcement, how did they react to this persona?
They loved it.
Really?
My dad loved it because he was in juvenile all those years.
Right.
He was a juvenile officer, so that was his entree into the juvenile community,
Yeah.
Hey, what are you guys talking about? Hey, come over. You ever heard of Cheech Chong? Yeah, he's my son. Come here, tell me what's going on here. Here's some free albums. That's what he always wanted. Come on, give me some free albums. Here's some free albums,